Woman of destiny, mind your thoughts, they form your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits forms your character, and your character shapes your destiny. Welcome to another episode of Woman of Destiny. Today we're going to be looking at a fabulous woman in the Bible called Lydia. This lady led a life that made an impact from generation to generation, and you will soon see why I absolutely love her. So before we get into her life, let's look at some facts about her life. One of the first things I want to talk about in terms of the facts about Lydia is the fact that she came from a city called Thyatira. Lydia came from a city called Thyatira, and she lived in the town of Philippi. Philippi was a Roman colony that had been founded by Alexander the Great's son, who was called Philip, about 4 centuries before Lydia was actually mentioned in the Bible. Lydia is also one of the first documented people in Europe to convert to Christianity. For those familiar with Catholic practices, you will be aware of the ecclesiastical calendar, which is the liturgical year, which outlines the feast and the celebrations, including the calendar of the saints. Now, this system arose from the early Christian customs, which was about commemorating martyrs annually, and it would normally do it on the date of their death or the day that is considered as their birth into heaven. So Lydia made so much impact that she was accredited as a saint because of the impact she made within the Catholic Church, and her feast day is actually the 3rd of August. Not that I'm a big fan of saints or anything, but the point is that the woman made an impact, and therefore she is being acknowledged for it, and it's worthy of noting it. So now let's get into the message. Lydia was introduced to us in the book of Acts. Very little is said about her, but there is so much that one can glean from her life. She was mentioned in Acts 16, verse 10, verse 4, verse 14, and verse 40. It all began with Paul, who felt God was asking him to go and preach in Macedonia. Now, following that dream, what Paul had was that a dream of somebody begging him to come to Macedonia and minister to them. So he traveled to Macedonia and ended up in this city called Philippi. When he arrived, they went to the riverbank. That was where they went to preach. It's interesting. I think they went to the riverbank because it was a meeting place. It was a communal place. It was a place where you meet a lot of people because everybody goes to fetch water. And that is one place where you can get access to a lot of people freely. But I heard one preacher also one time say something about the point of meeting at a river. And he was making reference to the fact that water represents revelation and the river flows. So there was abundance of revelation at a riverside. And I thought that was very interesting. I just wanted to throw that in there. So Paul goes to the riverbank and he meets this lady called Lydia. Like I said earlier, the Bible doesn't say much about her besides where she came from and how hospitable she was. But when we look at the things that transpired between her meeting Paul and the things that happened afterwards, you realize that she was a real woman of substance and she is worthy of studying. The first two things that the Bible mentions about Lydia is the fact that she was a businesswoman and she worshipped God. You will find that in Acts 16, verse 14. And it talks about the women at the riverbank, and she was a dealer in purple. I will talk about her wealth and her worshipping later on, even though those are the first two things we find out about her. I want to actually talk about other things about her before we get into her level of worship and her wealth. So the first thing I want to talk about is her generosity. How do I know she was generous? If you read Acts 16 verse 15, it says that she said, and this was her talking to Paul, she said that if they have judged her a believer in the Lord, they should come stay with her. It's not very common for somebody to meet strangers and ask them to come and stay with them. You want to be actually careful who you invite into your home. But this ties in with her ability to worship. I think she had great discernment. So once she met Paul and she listened to what they were preaching, she could discern that these were true men of God and she wanted to support the ministry. So she begs them to come and stay with her so that she can look after them. That is a lot of generosity. It's not everybody that can afford to just look after you, provide you accommodation. If you were to translate that into our modern world, we're talking about somebody that provided accommodation, probably rent free, I should say, because Paul didn't have a job in that city. And in fact, he built nothing there because he never even went back. We will find out later that he never went back to that city. So they were living in this lady's house, not paying any rent, not paying any electricity bill, no water bill, no food. This lady literally just looked after them. She was hospitable. And I think that we saw a lot of this during the start of the Ukraine war, that people were willing to open up their homes to other people. And this is how our lives should be, supporting people in need, not just ministry. I think sometimes as Christians, it's very easy for us to support ministry and men of God, but it needs to go beyond that. We need to be able to support people, look after them, support them when they are in need. Every time the Bible talks about entertaining angels by being good to others. So it will be really good for us as Christians to learn from Lydia and open our homes. You may not be able to ask somebody to come and live with you. You may not have enough rooms in your house, but you might be able to contribute to their situation. You might be able to help them live above poverty line. And these days it's so easy. You don't even need to go find the person. There are food banks all around that we can contribute to. And these are all ways by which we can build our society to have a healthier society. So this woman was really good. Not only was she hospitable, she was also dependable. Somebody that Paul and his team could actually depend on this woman. I've got here in my notes that she was so dedicated that when Paul and Silas were released from jail, they went straight to her house. How many of your friends can count on you in times of trouble? What kind of a friend are you? When things have gone wrong, can your friends count on you for support? Can they count on you for advice? Can they count on you for just being there, a shoulder to cry on? That is what this woman was. She was very dependable. A friend in need is a friend indeed. So when Paul and Silas were released from jail, the first place they went to was Lydia's house. How dependable are you? Can your friends really, truly, and genuinely count on you? We know Paul wrote a letter to the Philippians. I wonder whether Paul sent that letter to her because he knew he could count on her to address the issues that were raised in that letter. I think she probably became a minister of the gospel and she held a key position within the church. It's possible. Lydia was so dependable and so trustworthy as a friend that Paul could depend on her even after he had left Philippi, because we know he never went back there. But he continued to make impact. This woman took her role and her relationships serious, that whatever impact Paul made, she made sure that that was going to carry on, and Paul's effort was not going to go to waste. Sometimes our friends can't even trust us with simple things like pick my friend up from school for me. We forget. We say we'll come and visit and then we forget. We promise we will give you, you're desperate, you need a bit of money. We promise to give you something and then something else come our way and you're no longer a priority. That wasn't Lydia. She was a dependable friend, and that is what we should all aim to be. The other thing that I truly believe was a part of Lydia is the possibility that she built the church that was in Philippi. Because if you fast forward to Revelations 2:18, there we find out that a church was established in Philippi, the church that Paul wrote to. I think this woman established that church. If when she met Paul, she was discerning enough to support them, look after them, accommodate them, nurse them. I'm sure when they came out of jail, they were bruised and battered. If this woman was willing to invest so much, it wouldn't have been beyond her to actually build the church. Because like I said before, Paul never went back to Philippi. He only went there just that one time and he left. Could Lydia be that one that brought the gospel to her hometown? It is possible. The reason why I say it's possible, remember when she met Paul and Paul preached to her, she said that she wanted her entire household to be baptized. So that tells us that she wasn't selfish. It goes back to the generosity that I was talking about. When she found a revelation, when she got to know the Lord Jesus Christ, she wanted to share that with her community. She wanted to share that with her household. It's not beyond her to build a church so that the entire town can be part of this new Christ that she has found. Can I ask you a question? Since you got born again, how many people have you preached to? And actually, that goes for me as well. Can God count on us to build His church, to preach His word, to send the gospel forth? And there are so many ways of sending the gospel forth. It doesn't have to be you preaching. It can be you praying for missionaries. It can be you providing income and support for missionaries. The Bible is very clear that the harvest is ready, but the laborers are few. Are you and I going to join Lydia and become laborers of the field and send the gospel further afield and take every opportunity that we get to preach the word of the Lord? One of the things that I love about my church is about the fact that they promote making impact within the community in which they live. Some of us can be very selective with our kindness and our generosity, and we only want to give to other Christians. No, not my church, not Com Church. They go all out. They open the building up for summer festivities. They will open anything. As long as I remember, the church used to run school uniform. They used to set up a container, a shop, that people will come and collect free school uniforms. This is how you make an impact in your community. This is how you preach the gospel, because not everybody will listen to the preaching that you're opening the Bible and you're reading scriptures to them. But people will accept how we walk, how we treat them, how we live our Christian lives out. Will you commit and be a Lydia who will send forth the gospel? I think she was an amazing woman. And ministry isn't easy. Setting up a ministry isn't easy. It requires money, it requires time, it requires dedication, and it requires you being ready to be crucified in all sorts of ways. If Christ is our example, what didn't Christ go through for the sake of the church? But this woman was willing to do it. I think she was a fantastic woman. And if there is anything that we want to emulate of her, it's about propagating of the gospel, of the word of the Lord, through whichever means and ways that we can, so that we can draw people more into the kingdom. Because that is what God wants. That is the Father's cry, that people will come to know him through his Son, Jesus Christ. God bless you if you are already doing that. It makes you a true woman of destiny. Also, according to Acts, Lydia's heart was opened. And I really love that, because with her opened heart, she did a lot more good. Let's consider one person whose heart was closed, Pharaoh. Go back to Exodus and look at Moses' encounter with the Pharaoh of the time. His heart was closed, so he maltreated the people of God. Consider the opposite. Because Lydia's heart was open, she supported the people of God. I pray this day forth, you will talk to God to give you an open heart to support his ministry, to build his kingdom, to support those that are already on the mission field doing good. May God open your heart. Talk to God to open your heart to his things, to the things that concern him. Let the things that break his heart break your heart. If everything that broke God's heart broke our hearts, we will be like Lydia. We will be kind, we will be generous, we will love, we will support, we will build, and the world will be a much better place for all of us, because we've got open hearts. So, my dear woman of destiny, don't let your hearts be closed. Let your hearts be opened to the things of God. Be a Lydia, that through you, people will be saved and churches will be established. Just remember, right is right when nobody is doing it, and wrong is also wrong when everybody is doing it. So be right. Be a woman of destiny. Have a fruitful week.